Technically, I'm very sound in the work I do. For me, it's not past, it's not future, it's now. I took a lot of Edwardian inspiration. I used those cuts and those silhouettes and laces with Indian fabrics, Indian colors. It was cusping in the Renaissance era for me.
What does it take to be a designer in today's times?
Fashions change. Earlier it was 5 years, now it's very fast changing. You derive inspirations, you take the trends from there and then you use it with your inspirations and your philosophy to come out with your collection. There is something to do with the techniques that you work with for the person you're designing. What's really helped me is that as a personality, I like to talk to people. And that has been my mantra to teach students.
Conversation.
Yeah.
And you have a huge faith in God. That persona and this I was not able to put together.
Learn to take what you need to imbibe into your ethos and let the rest go.
From using a second-hand sewing machine to becoming one of India's most celebrated fashion visionaries, Neeta Lulla's journey is defined by endurance. Over 4 decades and more than 400 films, she has styled legends like Aishwarya Rai, Hrithik Roshan, Shah Rukh Khan, Sridevi, Pawan Kalyan, and many more legends in the industry. Her work has shaped cinematic milestones including Devdas, Jodha Akbar, Chandani, Hum Dil De Chuke Sanam, and Talaivi, just to name a few. Along the way, she has earned 4 national awards, the Cannes Best Costume Designer Award, and even a Neeta Lulla Day in Austin, Texas. The only Indian designer to serve on the Oscars jury, she continues to redefine couture and global fashion. In this episode, you will hear her reflect on fearlessness, leadership, staying relevant for 4 decades in the industry, and the principles that drive both her art and her legacy. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. I feel it's so surreal at this moment because I still remember when I asked you, ma'am, would you like to be on my show? The statement I made was, ma'am, I'm jumping a lot of guns here. So I want to start with that question. Why did you say yes to doing the show today?
Because of the honesty with which you asked me, Gayathri. When I spoke to you, there was so much you were doing, and predominantly, I think it was more to do with a lot of making a difference in people's lives. And that's why I just said yes.
Thank you. Means a lot, really means a lot. The first question I always ask people on my show, who are you? So today, I start with that question. Who is Neeta Lulla? How do you see Neeta Lulla?
I think probably this is how I ask my friends, I say, do you want me to come to your party or you want Neeta Lulla to come to your party?
Okay.
Because they're 2 different personalities, they're 2 different people, because I am me who loves to be with people, to be with friends, to go out with them, hang out with them, just not doing anything, or just, even if it's party, it's mad party, but it's not the la-di-da party like you say. Or if I'm going for an event, which is a public event, so there is a kind of a decorum that I go with, a kind of a look that is Neeta Lulla, because people look up at you, people want to communicate with you, and you have to have that elegance to be able to talk to them, at the same time to keep to yourself as well. I mean, we live in a world where so much goes on in our lives, with social media, with everything. So I guess that's why there is Neeta Lulla and there's me.
So I love that you were so honest that there were 2 different personalities there. To kind of credit that takes a huge amount of courage, especially to do in front of the camera, because you know that it's going out. And do you feel that you're at that point where you're able to make this statement today?
If I could make a difference to people, I think, why not? I mean, I'm at a phase in life, 40 years into the industry. I have worked. I've had a life of my own with my family, my husband, my kids, my grandkids now. So that's what I meant, there's me, friends and family and everything, and then there's Neeta Lulla, who does her work, who is there as a senior or a technician. Those kind of things kind of demarcate you as a personality.
Right.
So that's pretty much my take on being so gutsy about it, and then saying it.
Talking about it, yes. Ma'am, what is your dream today? I'm sure there were many aspirations, but from where you stand right now, what is your dream?
From where I come, for me, life has always been a learning process. I've always been a student. I'm learning each and every day, every project I take up, every film I design for, every character I work on. I'm learning every single day. There's something new I pick up. So my dream is to learn more and more. My dream is to work more and more. I mean, I'm not going to say that in 2 years I want this for my brand, but I think the more I can achieve in terms of the work I do, the more I can achieve in terms of the stores I want to put up. I'm greedy for that.
Wow. It's amazing. We were just talking about Neeta Lulla and there is me, right? There is a perception when somebody looks at you today. I have looked at you as Neeta Lulla, right? So I come from that person. When I looked at you and then when I was doing my research, I was going, speaking to some people very close to you and they said I was just asking them about, how about the difficult times? What has Neeta Lulla done then? One thing they told me, which I was not able to, I won't say that I was not able to match it to the personality that I thought you were, but it was still a little stark in the different. I mean, there was a difference, I would say, that said you have a huge faith in God. That persona and this I was not able to put together. But as you were talking about yourself as a person, I see that there is so much more depth, and I want to unearth that in this interview today.
So you want to unearth Neeta Lulla, you want to unearth me?
You, ma'am.
Because you met Neeta Lulla and I said yes to you.
Yes. Today I want both the personalities. I want to find out where it converges together. I want to see where
coming
it
to my
meets.
faith in God, I've grown up in a family that hugely believed in God, and we went by the book of all the pujas, all the occasions, all everything. Much as I did that when I was young, I got married in a family where they were not so much into puja, and they were not so much into, they believe that every day is God's day, and you don't need to do this, because my in-law side of the family are a family of professionals, and that's how that was their mindset. But somewhere along the line, I think the culture that was imbibed in me stayed. And because of where I got married, and we didn't do that much of pujas and stuff, but I just felt that there is a divine energy that is there. Even if you are not going to the temple every day, or you're not, there's a little prayer that you need to say for yourself. I do my puja every morning, I do my prayers every morning, and sometimes when I know that there is a time where you don't eat non-veg for the family, so I request them not to have it. So it's basically like that. But my faith in God stems from the fact that I believe that he is there guiding you at every process, and I've felt it. I've felt this because of the fact that there are times when there have been difficult situations at work. Somehow I just say that it's going to work out, and it works out. In my interviews, generally I say there's a guy up there who loves me, and I really think he loves me, but he also holds a stick. Because at work, my work for me is, apart from being a passion, it's my meditation, it's for me, it's a lot, it's a hell of a lot. Even when I talk about work, I get goosebumps to that extent. But the point is that technically I'm very sound in the work I do. There are times, you sometimes get lazy, you say, okay, chalo jaane do isko, jaane do. I tell my team, I say, isme na ye galti hai, but anyway, let it go. Invariably it has to come back for the same problem. Now how do you contribute that?
My God.
So, and I say that, when I'm being lazy, you kind of bring a stick at me and see that I do it. So 8 out of 10 times I kind of change it and I send it out and it's perfect. But 2 times that I don't, I get lazy, I'm human. It kind of goes kaput and it comes back.
No, I think in your answer, I figured that there are not two Neeta Lullas. There's one, a very, very strong one at that, who knows what to do where. But I want to go deeper today into the whole, personality of yours. I want to uncover the human behind the brand. Let's put it that way today. So I'm going to have a small exercise for us here. Ma'am, if you can close your eyes, I'm going to guide you through some steps and I want you to answer 3 questions as you are in that space, okay, with your eyes closed. Take a deep breath in and out. Forget the awards, the films, the brand, the expectations. Right now, just feel yourself as Neeta. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet space with no spotlight, no deadlines or fabric swatches around you, only you. Now, as you have your eyes closed, answer these questions for me. In this stillness, what do you feel on the inside?
I feel a sense of terao, if I may just say, like a calmness and being in the now, being in the moment.
Right. And you can be as candid as you want, ma'am. Who are you when nobody is watching?
I am a person who just goes with the flow. I'm a person who just likes to be in the now and to just, for lack of words, but I'm very much in the present. For me, it's not past, it's not future, it's now.
What is the truest part of you that you wish the world would see?
The truest part of me is I'm hardworking. I go for it with a very, very clear conscience that I have to achieve what I need to in the best way possible. I'm a person who does my best, and I know I've done my best and I can sleep well at night. It's not like a question mark in my head that, maybe I could better this. If that was to be done, that had to be done now.
Amazing, ma'am. With that, you can open your eyes. Did that feel a bit unusual or?
The reason I am like this, the reason I am, what I told you is what essentially I am, is a lot to do with my dad. He he has mentored us. Right. He used to talk to us. We're 4 girls, 4 daughters, and he used to sit with us, talk to us about life, about philosophy, about everything, and he would tell us this one thing: whatever you do it to 100%. Otherwise, don't do it.
Don't do it.
So I guess that stayed with me. A lot of the time he gave me as his daughter in the evening times, 2 hours or something, that he used to talk. He never spoke to me like a father. He spoke to me like a friend. And he spoke to me about the philosophies of life. Even if there were songs, he was very fond of songs. He would sing the songs and tell me this is what it means. So I guess that stayed because this was my early years. Apart from the time that mom used to get us to study by hook or by crook. But yeah, this is what dad was all about for us.
And I think one thing I've heard multiple times in the time that I have known you is that when dad was unwell, um, you were present, you were fully present, but you never, never let go of any of your commitments, even around that time. Even in the toughest of your situations, you didn't let go of your commitment. What kept you going, ma'am, this way and that?
Dad, like I told you, he used to say, you have to do what you have to do to the best of your ability.
Something's just...
I mean, it's become a habit with us, and that's how it's a no-brainer. Basically, when it becomes a habit, it's a no-brainer. And when people ask me also, I wonder, what would be the other way? But there is no other way.
Never known another way.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing. Ma'am, the next segment, we're going to speak about your work a little bit. You've been in the public eye for 4 decades now. Handling criticism I'm sure was a little difficult in the beginning, but how have you come through that part of it? Because it's constantly evolving, and even the criticism is constantly evolving, right? So, how do you handle criticism, ma'am? Because many of us, now that we are in the public eye, we want to, we have so many things to do, but we are being told so many things also parallelly, saying you're not doing this right, this is not okay, that's not okay. But 4 decades, how have you managed it?
So when I came into the industry, someone very senior told me that in the industry you will face it all, but learn to take what you need to imbibe into your ethos and let the rest go. And I've been fortunate to have great teachers in my career of working, like stalwarts like Subhash Ghai or Yash Chopra ji. So, I mean, I've been a good learner. I've been listening to them because, like, Dad used to talk, and I'm not someone who is into books or reading or something. For me, it's all about hearing, imbibing, putting it into my work. I think criticism has been there for the longest time, and criticism will be there. It's only changed. Earlier, there used to be only in magazines or books, or people would call you and whatever. Today, it's trolling, it's digital medium. People are all out there passing strange remarks and comments and stuff. But then, how much of it can you kind of sink in for the betterment of yourself, and how much of it can you block? And of course, we all feel bad for the first minute that we hear it. But like you just made me take a deep breath, take it out, and go with it. That is what one needs to do.
And what do you think about having a support system, ma'am? Because
I don't think I would have been where I am if there was no support system. There have been support systems in every part of my life. And I think as people, I won't say women or men, as people, we all have great support systems, depending on how you look at it. You look at it as the glass is half empty or half full. Of course, I have a husband who allowed me to work. And, he said to me that you need to work to be able to get your personality out, because I was very young. My in laws said, yes, please go ahead and make your mark, study, make your mark. But the thing is that they said, you need to come home by 7:30 in the evening. I could look at it as oh my God, they want me to come home at 7:30. That probably then, when I was far younger, I would have probably thought, I have so much work to finish, but they want me back at 7:38. The point is that today, when I look back, easy to look back, right? Today, when I look back, I feel that, even that, for me to be able to evolve to where I am today, that was a big discount they gave me in my life. I mean, maybe I would have been someone who was a homemaker, making cooking at home, looking after the kids, but they wouldn't have it that way for me. And that was a vision. My parents in the initial were a little iffy about me working, but when they saw that my in-laws are out there and, you know, letting me work and stuff, they also
join the wagon.
just
Wow.
kind of, because they were not sure, how our graph would take. My sisters have worked, they've been business women, I've been a business entrepreneur. So we've all kind of evolved into that.
Can you tell me? See, every designer has a style. Neeta Lulla has a style. Every designer, if you take, has a style. Now, when you are in a luxury space, like you are in right now, customers have a lot to demand, right? And you cannot always stick to your narrative of things. You have to have a flexible, adaptable mindset. How do you come about something like that? You must have seen people of all emotions, all expectations coming to you, saying that I want this to be made for me, right? And you would think that, okay, this is what I have as vision, but they have something. How do you bridge that gap? What does it take to be a designer in today's times?
There are two answers to your question. Number one, the consumer is always going to be a consumer. The demands are always going to be cross-board generic. But the evolvement of the consumer today is a great deal. Initially it was, they didn't know designers. They were tailors, they were darzis, and the films, they would take clippings and go. To the time that suddenly, little by little, they started hearing about names. I was mainstream designer, then I got into films as well. And because of the fact that there was not so much of demand in terms of the pressure of work that youngsters are facing today, I could pursue both the fields together, because sky was the limit. But the consumer or the client who came to me would not want anything from films because there was a social taboo.
Ah.
But then eventually it was about films. So they went into that. Today the world has become smaller in terms of the advent of the medium, digitization. So they straight go, they come to you, they know you've done the film, they'll say, we want this, the same outfit, same jewelry, same, we want to look the same, or this is what we want in this color. So that demand has increased a lot. Now, coming to your main question, every designer has a philosophy that they imbibe in their foundation years. So as a student, I never went for minimalism or maximalism or Bollywood inspired. I never went into that. I went into because of the fact that I loved the romanticism of the Edwardian era. I got inspiration from there as a philosophy.
Right.
Now, a lot of people don't understand that there's a philosophy and there is a collection inspiration. They are two different things. I took a lot of Edwardian inspiration, and I used those cuts and those silhouettes and laces with Indian fabrics, Indian colors. It was cusping in the Renaissance era for me. Very bold, very different, very unusual. And I used it pan my entire design process. Even today, I use the same. So even if you watch a film like Devdas, the blouses are not Indian. They are in Indian fabric, Indian embroidery, but they've got the Edwardian touch to it. Off shoulder, V necks, puff sleeves, all those kind of things. So most of my work, be it films or be it mainstream, has that ethos or that philosophy. Now, fashions change. The cycle is there. Sometimes, or earlier it was 5 years. Now it's gone into. It's very fast changing. Yeah. So you derive inspirations and you take the trends from there, and then you use it with your inspirations and your philosophy to come out with your collection.
Spoken like a true teacher.
So but that's how fashion works. That's how fashion
No, you're
works.
very
And
right, ma'am, because a lot of people confuse style with, I mean, they don't even realize there's something called a philosophy.
yes, so that's how it is. I mean, and when you're working on couture, there is nothing that is out of fashion or in fashion. There is something to do with the techniques that you work with for the person you're designing for. So you, as a couturier, I make a collection, but ultimately when it's a bridal, the bride comes and sits with me and I consult for almost an hour and a half on every detail, and every detail is looked into with her. And because of the technicalities that I have grown up with, there is a structural format in which I work, so that the garment that's made, and it's not now, it's been there since a long time, is something that the bride will like to take out of her cupboard and wear it in different ways. Today we are talking about sustainability, but I've done this in the late 80s, early 90s, where we used to guide the bride that you can wear this again for a mehndi, for a cocktail, for a sangeet. So your outfit is versatile. You don't need to just keep it in the cupboard. And the true sense of this comes out when I meet brides after years and they say, we still wear it. And the way you guided us, we still wear it. And it still looks in fashion. So that's a journey of a designer in terms of consumerism.
I think you've gone the full circle, ma'am, because not everybody likes to say that, wear it this way, that way, you can use it here, there. I mean, they don't give you that forethought of how this can become more useful to you, right? Today, it's become more about selling what you're making and less about what the consumer really can do with it. Not just wants, but can do with it. So with that, I want to go, sorry.
So, At my store, there are times when I am at the store and a client comes and picks up a wrong outfit, and I'll say, that is not for you. Don't pick up that. Try this.
Bold.
And they're like, okay. Of course, my managers and stuff are like,
Don't.
I'm like, no, you can't sell. It's eventually anime. And they now understand that, you know. And when I'm there, then they say, ma'am, will you come and just help out? And I willingly do. It's not like, okay, I'm a designer, so I'm not going to say anything to you. You can go grossly wrong with your outfit. I can't do that. I have, if I'm there and I see them picking up the wrong outfit, I'll say no. Because I know the cut of the outfit and I know that this may not suit them. So I'll say, no, why don't you try this? And even if they don't understand the outfit, because most of the time you only understand a garment when you wear it. So because I've told them, then, you know, Sharam they say, okay, we'll try it. And then they realize that, yeah, this looks really good. So for me as a designer, I think to be true to my efforts or my creation in that way is very essential as well.
It's amazing, ma'am. I think speaks a lot about where you come from, because what you want your products to be is not limited to you alone. You're thinking about the other person wearing it, and it's just not, again, like I said earlier, it's not about just selling something, but ensuring that they feel comfortable, happy, and can reuse them the way you think they can, right? So it's like a full package.
It is a full package. I mean, anything you pick up, whether it's jewelry, whether it's your house, whether it's furniture, whether it's clothes, and if you're spending and it's an aspiration for you, then you want. I would like to see them live that aspiration in different ways.
It's amazing. That takes me to my next question. Research, knowledge, craft, experience. We know that, it takes all of this, but is there more to this business today?
Experience.
Experience. Okay.
For sure. Because in the format that you go, knowledge, that's your foundation. When you are studying, the research you do, revelation you get about yourself. Like I said, I I realized that I was very intrigued with the romanticism of the Edwardian era. So people understand that for themselves as designers. So you get a revelation because you're now getting a foundation, and then through that journey, you have mentors who talk to you about what you're good at, what you're bad at. So I teach, right? I've been teaching for the last 36, 38 years now. And there are times when in the classroom, in the office, we sit down and we say, this girl is she's just not picking up. And maybe a pattern making professor will say she's not picking up pattern making. And somebody will say she's very talkative. So I work with them. I try to see, that, and maybe they failed, maybe they've not done well. But the point that they can speak and they speak well means that they can market products well. And today we live in a country that's so fast evolving. The demands from the younger generation is so much. The demands of being able to sell a product is so much that there are so many different niches that have come up for every job profile in any space. In the same way, even in fashion, I mean, the world is looking at us for fashion. If we can have people who can at least be able to do, even if they're not sketching, they're not styling, they're not doing a fabric print, even if they are good at digital. It may not be social media, it may be drafts, digital drafts, digital. There's so much that's going on. Then there is space for a lot of people who are interested in fashion. And for that space, a firm grounding, which means an education in that field, is very essential. Otherwise, you can't. I mean, today we have so many journalists who write about fashion most of the time, but the ones you really remember are the ones who speak of the fashion language.
Yes. Yes.
So, if you want to be remembered, if you want to be known for your craft, you have to have a very clear abreast of the craft that you are working on, which means education and research and understanding that I cannot be a stylist, but I can be this. I can be a makeup artist, I can be a jewelry designer, anything that comes your way. Especially after COVID, there have been so many vocations that have sprung up in every field, and especially in fashion. Sky's the limit.
Yeah. Absolutely. And how do you think you have kept up with the trends and with the way that marketing has evolved, ma'am, in the last 4 decades? Huge change from where you started to where you are today, and there's so many things you have to adapt, right? Day in and day out. There's so many things. I'm sure your marketing team is putting a lot of pressure on you to, get things out there. Can you tell me about how you have evolved in the process and what marketing
I
means
have
to you today?
evolved a lot,
Yeah.
a lot. Essentially, I think what's really helped me is that as a personality, I like to talk to people, I like to speak. So, my first day in class to go and teach the kids, I walked out. So, subsequently, 7 weeks, I just walked out of class. 8th week, I just read from the book. 9th week, I said, you know what? This is not going anywhere. Let's just talk.
Oh, wow.
So,
Interesting.
so they came up with what their problems are. I told them what my problems at work was, and they were like, we've learned so much. And that has been my mantra to teach students.
Conversation.
Yeah, and I tell them about the new things that have come up, and they speak to me about what they feel as millennials or Gen Z, what they're going through and what they want to do and how they want to do it and how they combat situations in their lives, which gives me a lot of understanding, not only about fashion but consumer mindset. So that's how I keep myself in touch. Even if I'm sitting on a flight, if I find someone interesting sitting next to me, I'll start talking. So so then so that's how I stay in touch. In terms of marketing, COVID helped me a lot. I got COVID 3 days, and those 3 days I took my computer in and I studied marketing management,
Wow.
social media marketing.
My God.
I said, I can't waste these 3 days sitting here doing nothing. Social media marketing.
My God.
And yes, the demands from my team, I have a great team of marketing people, but I am the badass there. I'm like, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? This is the new thing that's come up. Let's try this. Let's do this. Let's be honest. Let's talk about this. They're like, ma'am, you are more Gen Z than we are. What is wrong with you? Where are you coming up with all this? But the fact is that anything to do with fashion, I eat, breathe, live, sleep. So even if I'm sleeping, if I wake up in the night for like briefly, I'm thinking.
Wow.
I have a pen and paper next to my bedside. So even in the darkness, I'm just writing something and I keep it there so that I don't forget in the morning.
Oh my God. Wow. Like you said, I think fashion is your zen.
I don't know what it is, but I don't think I'm going to even stop.
My God. With that, I want to say one thing, ma'am. When I asked you, ma'am, will you be on my show? You looked at me an entire minute in the eye and then you said yes. Why I'm mentioning it here is because I saw that kind of positivity emulating from you that day, because I'm just a youngster coming and asking you, would you like to be on my podcast? With very little knowledge of what I do, you said yes. And now you're telling me in COVID you did your social media marketing course, and you're telling me that you are more Gen Z than your entire team put together. Now I'm just wondering where all that energy is coming from. It's amazing. When you had that piercing look in my eye, all I could feel was, you were observing, you were really paying attention. I just wonder how much attention you would pay, to the details of your clothing. See, one thing that I find very intriguing is that, especially watching you speak in one of the events in the past, was that you're so technically sound. You know what you're talking about. You spoke about the 12 different body types, if I'm not mistaken. And you were talking about how, something would work for one person. For now, you said, fine, I know for a fact that it doesn't work for that person. I will be very open in telling them, which means you know it so technically. You know your garments so well. So can we speak a little bit about your garments, ma'am? Because when I wear a particular person's dress, I can feel it. I can feel on the inside. Yeah, I feel so confident, so happy. It makes me feel so nice. So, can you talk to me a little bit about this from a technical point of view? And I know there is a non technical point of view also, but I want to hear it from you now.
On a lighter note, I think my website work and my digital virtual meetings with my clients does brilliantly well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Only reason
Interesting.
is because during my consultation, I asked them to just stand for me. And they're like, why? I said, "No, please do." And they do. And I'm telling my team, her measurements are this,
Just by seeing.
just by seeing.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing this for the longest time. And I think it's experience and technique, ability that gets me to this. There's nothing surreal. There's nothing like I'm an astrologer or it's nothing to
Nothing
do
at
with
all.
that. It just happened even 2 days back. I have an intern, so I asked the client to stand and I said, "This is the body type, this is the measurements, and write it down." And just for the sake of asking the client, we just said, "Would you know your measurements?" And she started saying, "My measurements are this. And my assistant is looking at me like a tick mark on everything.
My
I said,
God.
"Yeah, I know."
My God.
So this kind of technique not only makes me aware of structure, measurements, and the kind of visually looking at them, but also I know how to cut garments. What happens is when I'm in a fix and the master G is not understanding something, I always cut it myself.
The garments.
The garments, because where's the time? When you're doing a film project, there's no time
Right.
to sit and explain to the master G. And if it's couture, it's a different
Correct.
thing altogether. You make the toile, you make the the paper pattern, you see it, you check it, and all. But here you don't. So I generally cut my garments myself. 9 out of 10 times, the clients who wear my garments ask me, "Did you have anything to do with this garment? Did you cut it?" Because apparently they feel
Difference.
the difference, the kind of probably the love and warmth that I cut the garment with. I don't know. I still can't fathom it.
Wow.
But something about it, whether it's a male client or a female, will tell me, "Have you cut this shirt or have you cut this outfit?" It's the same outfit that I have cut and made for them.
That they are able to tell the difference.
Yeah, I'm sure, like we were just chatting and you said that even when a master G changes, you can tell the difference. But yeah, I still can't put my head around how and why of this, but then I don't want to think too much into it. I'd rather just do that cut and stitch and get on with it.
I think your heart, your vision, your dream about that outfit all comes through. I mean, this is my thinking that this is what is making the whole difference there. Even in the short duration, because you're saying that, you might be doing it on a film set,
Yeah. But
that
I
quick
think
work.
it is also technique. Again, I would emphasize on what you know is what you can put there
Right.
creatively.
Wow. Experience speaks
Yeah, I guess so.
speaks
Because when you
volumes,
have the
ma'am.
technique and you have the experience, and today I've probably cut so many garments myself, so it becomes easy for me. I remember we were working on an outfit for Devdas, and I had these two really expensive saris, and I didn't have a sketch, so I that was the first time I had 4 assistants.
Okay.
So they were all standing there because these were exotic saris and all. So I picked up 2 and I just cut it, and all 4 went. I said, "What happened?" "Ma'am, that was an expensive sari and you don't have a sketch." I said, "I don't need a sketch."
Oh, wow. I'm holding my breath.
So they're like, "But are you sure it'll come out?" I said, "I'm 100% sure, and you better be sure, because you need to be sure of what you're doing.
Correct.
You can't be, oh my God, you can't be doing that. There's no time for that. We have 25 saris to drape, and you're going to be on each one sit and say, oh my God, oh my God." No, there's no time for that. God is helping you from behind. By calling him, nothing's going to happen.
Oh my God. Ma'am, but that I want to take, you spoke a little bit about intuition, love, the way you make garments, the technical part of it. But there's also the other side of business, right? The numbers. Most creatives fret that side of business. How about you, ma'am? You fret numbers? Do you like them?
I used to pretend to fret numbers, but no. When it comes to putting pen to paper, I'm there.
Oh, that's amazing.
because I have to be there. It's my business. It's not like a 9 to 5, or it's not like a not 9 to 5. I would say it's not like I'm working for someone where I have a limited responsibility. Here, everything is mine. I have to have that responsibility to see it through. So I can't say no, I'm not a number person. Like hell, I am. I have to be.
You have to be.
And where I get stuck, of course, there's husband, there is accountants, there's CAs, there everybody. So there are times I catch certain things that have gone wrong is when I say, no, this should be this way. And it's right. Thank God for Chat GPT. Even what is legalities today, you get to know about it. Because in today's day and age with online selling, there's so much that goes on
Yes.
that you
Yes.
need to be very careful.
Absolutely.
So yeah, everything to do with scams and whatever. You need to know as a business owner, you have to be present in all facets of your work.
Absolutely. I think that's a great takeaway, because if you are not going to do it, who's going to do it? It's your business, right? End of the day.
But this training I got I think from the beginning of my work, because when I started off, it was not about, being there with a vision, a goal, a plan in mind. You just started work. So I had this little room, and I used to get up in the morning. I used to clean the furniture, do the jhadu myself and everything, and then sit on my accounts myself. One machine, and the tailor would come, and I would cut a garment and give him to stitch. So we started from there. We started from being our own peons and our own accountants and our own everything. Today, I carry my bags myself. And they say, why are you carrying? Today you've arrived. I said, no, that you've arrived doesn't mean to say you can't carry your own weight. If you have to carry it, you have to carry it. There is this thing about why is she carrying the bag? She should have an assistant. Not necessary. I don't believe in that. I believe that you can be as good an assistant to yourself as somebody else. Why have that kind of reliability on someone else to carry your stuff? So that's not something I do.
No, I think that gives me a very different spin to your whole personality, ma'am. Because, I mean, like you said, when you arrived, people want you to have certain setup around you, right? In fact, I was pretty surprised. I was telling my family, I said, every time I call Neeta ma'am directly, I'm not being redirected through somebody else saying, you talk to this person, you talk to that person. No, just directly her. She's managing her calendar. She tells me what can be done, what cannot be done. And that's so much easier for me to work with.
But there are certain places one has to keep that, and then you keep it where it's required. But where it's not required, again, it comes to, is it Neeta Lulla, is it me? When it's not required, it's not required. So I guess we need to know that demarcation very clearly, because being in the field, sometimes you need a team that looks after you, because there are legal implications, there are other things, you're taking up a project where you're endorsing a product or whatever. So those kind of things, you need someone. But in something that's simple and that can be managed by you, why not? It only brings the person close to you, because you kind of communicate and you understand where that person is coming from. Also, Gayatri, I think that if I was communicating with you, I was understanding, your mindset probably too. Where is it going to head? Because there's small details that
Absolutely.
I pick up
Mm.
about a personality. And it's not about judging, but it's about understanding. So that's where this stems from for me.
I wanted to ask you when you were talking about just earlier about how you started by doing everything yourself, right? You have slowly scaled and you've reached, I would call, the pinnacle of success in India here. Can you tell me what scaling really means to you and how you have gone about consciously scaling your business today?
So, scaling for me is first arriving and achieving your brand goals, your brand ethos, where people understand you and the people know that your brand stands for this. Okay, so I think that is where scaling initially starts.
Right.
And then going into getting financial infrastructural assistance, getting investors on board, going ahead and opening stores and stuff. But as business today, what I find is that there has been a lot of scaling in the field of fast fashion and diffusion. But couture, there hasn't been that much scale.
Yes.
Even bridal couture or bridals have gone into that medium range of fast fashion, also because of the advent of, again, post COVID, every vendor coming online on Instagram. And where bridals were a thing, today it's like you're just picking up a 25-30,000 outfit and wearing it, so there's so much out there. So I've been through that journey where there were no investors, and this is a business that I have brought up from scratch, and I do get people asking me, "What's your, who's your second in command who can take it up?" But like I very often said, couture does not have that unless I have a range of fast fashion. But even fast fashion, a specific range is doing well. But above that, it's still a touch and feel. It's still tactile. And that tactile sensibility for consumers is not going to go. If they're spending in their above their range, then they want to see it, feel it, wear it. And that is not something that can scale up.
Correct. You're very right, ma'am.
I'm okay. I'm okay to open 3 flagship stores, and have a strategic investor who understands this ethos, who believes in it, and who believes in giving the quality of garments that can be kept for a longer period of time. It's slow fashion, it's tactile, it's a hand me down to generations after you wear it. So I'm okay for that. And today I'm at a stage where, see, I was not into just fashion. I was into film, costume design, and fashion and teaching.
Right.
So my attention has been divided. In terms of scaling up, I can't think of anybody else who's doing this much. So I think I'm scaling up enough. Whether it is you're looking at scaling up financially or you're looking at scaling up work wise is a choice that you need to
You
make.
need to make.
If I do get an investor who wants to scale up my bridal couture, I would love it.
Absolutely.
But films and the kind of films I'm doing, the kind of musicals I'm doing, I just did Raj the musical, the kind of teaching avenues that are opening up for me, I'm very happy. But I'm not content in terms of, I'm a very greedy, creative person. I must tell you that. It's not about, okay, I've got this, I'm going to be happy. No, I want to do more. I want to do more. So, and also because of speaking to people, understanding what's going on, there is still that child in me that's wanting to do a lot more and understanding, like a student, that, okay, if I do this, how? And I think it's very essential when you're scaling up to keep that mindset that, this is a new avenue. I will learn and I will make it happen. So, yeah, I'm here. I will learn. I will make it happen.
I think it's a mantra. I will make it happen. There
Yeah.
is no two ways about it. And I think that's what sets you apart from the rest. That's what is making you who you are. I think we are unearthing you as we speak more and more in detail. I'm so happy to be, listening to this, ma'am, because it's wonderful. I mean, there are so many lessons I'm personally taking away from it. I'm sure the people watching this are going to be, they should be ready for a feast.
No, if I can make a difference to anyone, I think I'll be blessed.
You've already made difference in the way I think today, ma'am.
Thank you.
So with that, I want to go to the next one, ma'am. We spoke about scaling, but there's also scaling your team, building the right kind of team. How are you looking at building teams? Can you tell me your experiences, your method of working?
So my master's been with me 20 years. My embroidery guys have been with me over 22 years. My main assistant has been with me 18 years. So the team that I have, the person who works with me at my store started with just a helper and today is handling a lot of things at the store, almost at a managerial level. And she's been there almost 20 years with me. So that's my team. And as professionals, we look at scaling up, we look at teams. But then there is this thing about understanding if they want to be part of that family, and how they look at their scaling up. And that's not something that you don't get into. You can't judge, you can't summarize it,
Correct.
because today's audiences who are working have a planned mindset. They have their thought process, which is very well laid out. So people come, people go, but those who stay for years together. And for me, I think what's important is when they stay and they learn. It's more valuable than someone who has come and you're training them, stays for about a month or so and goes off, because these guys have understood your ethos, they've understood everything, and even if I have to just look at them, they know what I'm trying to convey. And that for me is scaling up, and that for me is my second in command, because they get you, they get your nerve. And the more people you get like that, the more your business scales up.
Absolutely. And I think this gives a completely different flavor from what business have started becoming. Of course, different industries have different standards of working, different methods of scaling. But this is a very fresh perspective that on the show we have spoken about today, because we're always you're talking about 10x, 50x or 100x from where you started. But laying such strong foundation and building on that slowly but very very steadily is not predominantly seen these days, and that's beautiful to watch. I think as an industry that has so much tradition also attached to it, so much sentiment, so many emotions attached to it, I think the bridal couture, like you said, is something that is never going to go out of vogue in India. But how it is, I mean, how people have started looking at it, how, like you said, if somebody wants to pay more than what they earn, they want to still have the tactile,
Yeah,
sense,
no,
right?
family wants to go with them to see
Exactly,
it, to
exactly.
feel it. I mean, the most valuable thing is when you see the girl wear the outfit and you put the dupatta on the head and the mother has a tear in her eye.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Imagine that.
it's priceless to make them feel and that warmth.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it's entirely up to you that whether it has your business has a creative, emotional, and financial quotient to it, or it just has a financial quotient. And I think that is where people say, no, she is creative, usko numbers nahi malum.
Correct.
Or she or he is creative, they don't know numbers. This is where it comes from. But I think as creative people, as business owners, we all need to know our numbers. Even if it is take 3 days off and sit and study how numbers work, but you have to do it.
And how do you work? Do you have creative blocks at all now?
No,
No.
no.
Wow.
What is a creative block? I mean, I can't go and say I have a creative block. Cannot. There's so much out there. There's so much creativity out there that why would you have a creative block? I mean, I'm looking at you, I can get inspired. So why?
So, what do you think is this creative block that people speak about?
From my personal perspective, I have no clue.
Okay.
But I just feel that if there is a lot of technique and there is a lot of technique of how you get inspired for your creativity and your ethos, I think that creative block kind of diminishes.
Kind of melts away.
Yeah.
If you think you had one in the
Because
first place.
I would say stagnation sometimes creates a creative block. And that does in every field, every aspect. But I don't understand that aspect for myself.
I've heard that you are someone who never says no to work. In a world where we are saying that choose what you want to work on, don't say yes to everything, that seems like a little different, in terms of perspective. So, can I understand from, your perspective why you never say no to work that comes your way?
Because it inspires me, because it keeps me going.
Any kind of work.
It's my dream, it's my aspiration. Any kind of work. I told you I'm very greedy as far as work is concerned. It just keeps me going.
Wow. You're not worried about what impression it might create?
No. In fact, in the industry, there have been a lot of newcomers. A lot of newcomers who nobody used to even touch. Would say, come, I'll do shoots with you, I'll do photo shoots with you. And I didn't know why, but I just felt that that time, they were newcomers. They needed that support. And today, the kind of touch with the kind of goodwill I have in the industry, I think probably stems from that.
Right.
And probably from the fact that I never say, no, I cannot do it or I will not do it. Because there's another business aspect, putting it very, very business wise. When you know what you're doing and how you're supposed to do it, you can work within that budget.
Mm.
It's not out of your hand somewhere else, it's in your hand. And you can tweak it around to create that look in the budget required.
Right.
So if I'm going to say no, it's the budget is very small, I'm lying. I am lying. It's my perspective. Because if I want to do it, I know how to tweak this around in the budget. And when you do that, people understand when you say, hey, this will not work in this much budget, but if you pull up your budget to this much, I think I can give you a great piece of work. They understand.
Okay.
People understand techniques, technicalities. You need to kind of adhere to the sensibility of why, what, how. But if I turn around and say, I've arrived, so you give me this, doesn't work.
That's amazing. I love that attitude, ma'am. I love that attitude of yours. I think that was one thing that was so captivating for me when I first watched you on stage. I was like, God, what energy, what openness. This is something I'm finding in people, many times when I sit across people like you, legends like you, I think, my God, what openness. Why don't we have this sort of an openness? Where are we lacking this? Because we so guarded, we have so many, rails around us. We're like, oh, this I cannot do, that I cannot do. This is what I want to be doing. There's so much. Even with me, I feel like sometimes I'm not so open.
Time and experience will make you open. I guess that's how it is.
My God. Ma'am, with that, I just have one last question for this segment, after which we'll deep dive into a personality decode. If there is one situation that has been so tough on you, but you still managed to come through it, will you be able to talk to us about that today in this industry?
Every day there are tough situations. Every day there are situations where you're working on something and you say, I don't think I can manage this. But you manage it. And then you look back. If you look back and say, I don't know how I managed this. For example, there was a friend of mine and I were watching Jodha Akbar, I think, for the umpteenth number of times. And I looked at it and I said, are you sure I did this work? I don't think I will do it again. I don't think I have the bandwidth to do it again. The next thing I know, after I've just said this, the next week, I get a huge Hollywood project to work on.
Wow.
And it does. And why go that far? Just recently, 40 days of going up and down Mumbai, in 40 days taking almost 20 to 23 flights, getting clothes ready, working through the nights for a film project. We are just in the interim right now of finishing it. And I feel like I've just finished my 10th standard exam and I wake up in the night and say, am I supposed to go to work? So yeah, there is this kind of toughness that is there to work, and it depends on how you take it, essentially.
It's amazing. It's really amazing, ma'am. With that, I want to go to the next segment called the personality decode. Here, the idea of this decode is to show to our viewers what you orient towards as a personality. This is for them to take and put it within their own lives, implement it within their own lives, to keep growing, to, keep moving forward. Because when, like I use the word again, legends like you sit here and talk to us, I think we have the responsibility to learn from you. It is a responsibility for us to learn from all of you. And I truly believe that mindset is one of the biggest contributors to success. So,
my husband's going to love this interview. He's a psychiatrist.
Oh, wow, okay.
And he always, I can't place my head on how you think. One day you're creating this, the other day you are cooking at home, the third day you're sitting with your grand. I can't place my head on how you keep doing all these things. So this one's for him, I guess.
This one's for him. So I'm going to start. I'm going to give you a few questions and then I'm going to give you a couple of options for you to choose from. By the end of it, I'll tell you what you orient towards and you tell me if you're able to identify with it or not while the audience watch it as well. So we'll start with the first question. When life gets overwhelming, how do you return to yourself? First option, create grounding rituals. Second, take bold action to break the loop. Third, transform the emotion into creativity. Or fourth, retreat into silence and observe.
Transform the emotion into creativity.
What gives you a deep sense of purpose? Being useful and dependable, shaking things up and pushing boundaries, creating something meaningful from chaos, or seeking truth beneath the surface.
First two.
First two. In your quietest moments, what kind of thoughts visit you? Am I doing enough? What's next? How do I turn this into beauty? What does this really mean?
Am I doing enough?
When you feel disconnected, what helps you realign? A return to structure, a new challenge, immersion in your art or work, or deep, honest reflection?
Second and third.
Which phrase feels most like a personal mantra to you? Hold steady, burn bright, turn pain into power, or see beyond the surface?
Hold steady.
I think you have a very, very clear orientation. You are an anchor. You're a planner, basically. I think clarity comes from structure and discipline, but you also have a little bit, I won't say 100%, sorry.
Of a king.
You are. You're also a listener and a dreamer, but your planning comes ahead of all of that. I think that you require a lot of structure in the way you approach things.
Yes, I do. I plan my day from the morning, and that is why I'm able to achieve so much. And I need a structure. I need a structure to come up with a new collection or anything new. I need that to be in place. So for me, the first most important thing is to organize my day.
So I think the personality decode did well.
And people do say I'm dependable, so I like that.
I think I've heard that from, so I took some questions, I sent it to your team and I said, can you get people very close to Miss Neeta, fill this out for me. And everywhere I saw that, you have a childlike heart, but you're so dependable, as a person, you're so dependable. They are like your go-to. I mean, for them, you're the go-to. So and that was so wonderful.
A friend of mine was like, hey, I got a question and I did it. And have you read it? I said, no, it hasn't come to me. But why haven't you read it? I said, if she has to tell me, she'll tell me what is there to read. It's like you now, if it does not work, you won't want to read.
I think one of the times that I did it for somebody else, they were like, would you mind sending it to me? I really want to know what these people have told. I would love to read it. So I'm going to send it to you anyway. That was my plan.
Niceness, whatever they've written. Yeah.
It's wonderful. I think they had such amazing things to say. See, when we speak to the people who have been watching you for a long time, we don't know what all they have observed. And that's something that's beautiful to just learn, right? That's what I feel every time I speak, I do my research. This is what I feel. When you're getting in touch with the people around the person you're going to interview, it gives you a completely different perspective. Like I said, the Neeta Lulla I saw versus the Neeta Lulla I was reading about. I was trying to bring it, and I think the interview has made it possible for me to understand you so much more, ma'am. It's been beautiful. With that, I come to the last segment. This is called the Power 30. In this, I will ask you 5 to 6 questions, and if you can answer them in 30 seconds, it'll be wonderful.
Done.
Yeah. What kind of a support system should one build?
Dependable and someone you can speak to easily.
Okay. Who's your inspiration?
My inspiration is Frida Kahlo, and I think she's absolutely amazing with the kind of work with her limitations that she did.
A book, film, or artwork that has shaped your thinking?
Frida Kahlo.
Okay. Your toughest comeback?
3 times over.
3 times?
3 times over.
Wow. Would you mind talking a little bit?
It's a long one. 30 seconds won't be enough.
It's okay. I mean, if you're willing to, I would love to hear it.
No, we all come across a lot of competition and things that happen through the competition. And there are times when you have to probably just shut everything and restart and realign. So that's part of life. You have to go with the flow.
Wow. Okay. How should I carry myself in public?
Confidence, stylish, and knowing where you're going and how you're supposed to be or speak.
And I must confess that I did not write this after we started the interview. It was there before because I really wanted to learn, because your presence was so strong, but it was not scary. And I wanted to personally learn from you how you were doing it, because some people come across very strong and very scary, unapproachable, I would say. But yours was not like that at all. You came out strong, but you were not scary at all. You were very approachable.
I guess because I would attribute that to the fact that I just felt I was talking to a whole group of friends, and that's about it. I mean, that's how you're supposed to speak. I even mentor that way. Of course, it's another thing the students get absolutely nervous with me around, but this is how I am.
Wow. The last question, ma'am. What is the legacy you wish to leave behind?
The legacy of being something of the brand or of me.
For me, after this interview, I feel the brand is you. So
She's dependable. She is magnanimous. She's fantastic.
I love that you use the word she, because
That's the brand.
yes, that's amazing, ma'am. One word about this podcast. I want your feedback.
I think it's a very honest podcast. It's very refreshing that you are asking questions like this. That one can't make up stories. It has to be an honest. It's a very honest podcast. I really like that about it. And somewhere I was right when we were going back and forth 2 months now. I said, no, I have to do this one. And I think that is what I was looking in your eyes, the honesty.
Thank you. That brings tears in my eyes, but thank you so much. It means the world. It really means a lot. But thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for being honest. I know for a fact that people are going to learn so much from this.
Thank you. I'm glad.
It's wonderful.